Friday, everybody. I'm glad you could be here with me today, and we're going to do something simple and fairly quick and super easy, and something that you can take with you or you can do it for at home. And if you like tuna in a can, you are going to love this. Now, I had tuna in a can. There it is right there. And first thing we need to do is get the can open. You know, you would think that by now I would have this down to a science and I would be all ready to go every time we get together, and yet here I am not ready to go. So I guess it gives us something to talk about a little bit. Now, the reason that I chose tuna today is because tuna is inexpensive. It is delicious in my opinion, although I do tend to put a little extra pepper on mine. And it is keto friendly. So, tuna is definitely something that you can have sitting in your cupboard, so when you don't feel like cooking, when you don't feel like prepping a big meal, this is something that you can whip up in just a couple of minutes. And so I want to tell you guys today, my coffee has got Da Vinci sugar-free peppermint patty. I know, sounds crazy, but it's very good in coffee, I promise. Okay, so let's get busy. We have stuff to do here. So first things first, you want to see what I'm doing? Okay, here we go. Well, here we went. There we go. Now you can see what I'm doing here. Okay. One thing that is true about tuna is that it has water in it that needs to be strained off. I don't strain off a lot because I want that extra moisture in my salad. And when you look at, see if I can read this here. When you look at this, there are 0 grams of carbs, and there's also 0 grams of fat, but there is some protein. So we're getting our protein out of our tuna. And so that's a good thing. But since there's no fat, we need to find a way to add fat to it. Now, if you have not had time, where is it? I need to have my cloth to wipe my hands on. If you haven't had time to make up a new batch of mayonnaise, don't worry about it. We're going to do something a little bit different. Do you keep sour cream in your fridge? I hope you do. And if you are keto and you want to have sour cream in your fridge, make sure that you are checking your sour cream for ingredients. I know it sounds crazy, but I promise you it's true. When I look at the ingredients on my container of sour cream, it says milk ingredients, bacterial culture, and microbial enzymes. That is all. That's it. That's all that there should be in there. Now, the microbial enzymes and the bacterial culture eat any of the lactose that's in the milk. So what you're getting is sour cream. Now, if you look in a grocery store, hi Del, and you see a container of sour cream that is 0 fat, I promise you, cows do not make 0 fat cream. They just don't. It's not a thing. We want 0 sugar. We don't want 0 fat. So put that one back. The sour cream light, the fat-free sour cream, put that back. Get the full fat. It should be at least 18%. Okay. And even at 18%, you still want to be watching the ingredients and make sure you're not getting sour cream that has a whole bunch of cornstarch or potato starch or whatever else they're using to thicken it. We just want the bacterial culture, the microbial enzymes, and the cream. That's it. Okay, that's enough about sour cream. Now, we are going to add 2 tablespoons of sour cream into our bowl. So if you've got it in the fridge, no muss, no fuss. Easy to pick up when you go to the grocery store. And then we are going to add half a teaspoon. Let me grab a spoon here, make things easier. Half a teaspoon of organic yellow mustard. Now, if you don't care for yellow mustard, you can use Dijon mustard, but again, if you're using Dijon mustard, it is so, so important that you are paying attention to. Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad to see that colorful foresight, and I'm very glad that you joined me. If you don't like yellow mustard, use Dijon, but make sure that you are checking the ingredients. Now, I'm using dried parsley. This is half a teaspoon of dried parsley. And I'm using dried because I want you to know you don't have to have a whole bunch of ingredients in your kitchen that are not going to keep. You go and buy a bunch of parsley and you don't use it today, don't use it all. And so we're just going to use dried parsley. Now this is going to rehydrate in the sour cream. And then we are going to add about 3/4 of a teaspoon of either lemon or lime juice. You choose. Now today we're using lemon juice. If you have a fresh lemon in your kitchen, use it. If you don't have one of these, you need to pick one up. This is a reamer and it makes it so much easier to squeeze the lemon. Okay, now we've got these ingredients in here and we're going to add a bit of fresh ground pepper, TSL Organics pepper, as was the parsley that we added, TSL Organics parsley. And then just a pinch of salt. Now you can salt to taste afterwards, but you don't want to add too much right now. Colorful Foresight. I love that name. That's awesome. We should all have colorful foresight. It's way better than black and white hindsight, I think. Okay, so now we have this in here, and that's great, but that isn't enough salad dressing, and it isn't enough fat. When you look at the sour cream, the fat that we're going to get from 2 tablespoons of sour cream is only 5 grams, and we're getting 17 grams from a full can of tuna. So what do we do about that? Easy peasy. Have you got an avocado in your fridge? I don't think there has been a time, not very many times in the last forever, where I have not had an avocado in my fridge. Now, when you are cutting an avocado, if you haven't done this before, I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, avocados, get a sharp knife, put the avocado in a cloth in your hand. The last thing we need is to have to put lunch on hold because you have to go to the emergency ward for stitches. Cut all the way around the avocado. Once you've got it all the way around, just give it a twist. Poof, there you go. Beautiful, just like that. Now, we're only going to need half of the avocado, and for me, oh, well, that was a treat. That works out really well for me because I'm going to need the other half for supper tonight. So, again, with the avocado in a cloth, seriously, guys, I have gone right through the avocado and almost cut my hand. So this is important. Safety first, right? Okay, chop the seed, just give it a whack with your knife, give it a twist, poof, there you go. Now you have an avocado that's in its own bowl, makes it very easy to mash. Now to get this seed off the knife, don't grab it and pull it like this. It's likely not going to work. One digit on either side of the blade and just give it a little push. And it usually works. There we go. And it just pops right off. You can grab it like this, but if you slip, again, I don't like going to the hospital, so I guess, it's all up to you. Now, once you get this opened up and have the seed taken out, there are 2 things that you can do. You can cross this, you can cut this diagonally going both ways. Now, if your avocado is properly ripe, you should just be able to just do a easy indent, just like that. Don't push really hard. Your finger will go right through the skin. Okay, so then we've got it cut one way. We can cut it the other way. And if you want chunks of avocado in your salad, there you go. It's all cut. All you need to do now is scoop it out. Now, for me, I don't want chunks. I want this to be the fat that's incorporated into our dressing. So I'm going to, now you can mash this in the shell too, and I do that all the time. But today, I'm going to put it right in there like that. And I'm going to get my little, well, it's an egg masher, but, tomato. This is my little buddy. He is just so adorable. And when you buy him, the package says his name is Mashy. So he is fondly referred to in my kitchen by me. I don't think by anybody else. He is fondly referred to as Mashy. Okay, now, had you been here so that you could have tasted this dressing, you would have found that it was quite intense. Now, once you've added the tuna and the lettuce and the other goodies in, not going to be quite as intense. But this is adding lots of delicious, healthy fat, and you're doing it. I know, I'm making lots of noise. It's just kind of how I roll. And we'll set this right there. Now we've got this all mixed up, and it's thick, but let's taste test. Make sure that we've got the salt and pepper where we want it. That is so lovely. Okay, now I'm making a mess here as usual. If you like your salad in layers, then you can just skip this next part and put the dressing on top of your salad. Now you'll notice, because we didn't use an oil, this is quite thick. And that's okay, because it's going to go on top of your salad. It's going to be amazing. Now the next thing that we need is a cutting board, because we're going to do some green onions. Now I bought this bunch of green onions, brought it home, washed them, put them in a jar with some water. If you do that, they're going to sit in your fridge. They're going to keep a lot longer because these are live plants. So they're going to keep a lot longer. Now, what I did not do was I did not trim the ends, because if I did, they're just going to dry up again anyway. So I left that for now. Now we need 3 green onions. Green onions are an awesome keto choice if you are wanting an onion, because they are lower in carbs than other onions. It's a true story. Check it out. Okay, now, first thing first, I love using scissors on green onions. It is just so much faster than using a knife. And we're going to snip the ends off. Now, depending on what you want in your salad, and this is a personal choice, but make sure you are weighing your ingredients. You know you've got half an avocado in here. You know you've got 60 grams of sour cream and half a teaspoon of parsley. And so we're not getting a whole lot of carbs in here at all yet. But now we're going to start adding a couple of ingredients that do have a little bit for carbs in it. So that's important to keep in mind. Now, I'm going to get another bowl out so that we can, oh, that's not big enough. Let's get a bigger one. Bigger is better. And besides that, it gives me a reason to crash around in the kitchen a little bit more. Okay, we're just going to use our scissors, kitchen shears, and we're just going to cut these up, because this is so much easier than getting your knife out and trying to make sure that everything is equal size. This makes it, for me at least, this makes it much easier to keep this all fairly even size. Now, if you want some practice with your knife skills, then by all means, use a knife. Okay, just put this down in the bowl so they don't jump out like that one did. So I was talking to someone yesterday and explaining to them that onions have sugar in them and they're higher in carbs, which is absolutely true, they do. So if you're going to be using something where there's a choice of kinds, so onions, there's white, yellow, red, however many different kinds of onions, and the green onions. So do your homework and find out which one is lowest in carbs. If you're talking about peppers, green peppers are lowest in carbs. They haven't ripened as much, so they haven't developed those sugars yet. So if you're looking at peppers, you want to go with green. If you're looking at onions, you want to go with green. Green is a keto color. Keep that in mind. Okay, so we have, how many onions? 3 onions, 3 green onions. Now, I'm just going to chop the top of this off. Now, I have 1 wilty leaf, so take that off. We definitely don't want that. I'll make that 2. Now, I'm going to cut, so this is romaine lettuce. I'm going to cut it this way first, and then I'm going to cut it this way. So you're doing it lengthwise. Now, when we chop this, look what happens. We have bite-sized pieces, just like that. Easy peasy. Now, if you are making a salad, this is great. If you are making tacos using your TSL taco mix, also great. If you're doing tacos, do your shreds a little bit thinner though. You don't want them quite as big as you do for a salad. Okay. Now, we're going to put this in the bowl with the onions. Now, I'm not going to add a lot more vegetables to this because I know if I did, I wouldn't be able to eat it anyway. So, we're just going to put this in here and mix it around with those green onions. Onions in tuna, especially green onions, definitely my fave. Gotta say. Now, we are going to add our can of tuna. So we're going to get that protein in our salad. Now in this entire salad, there's maybe going to be 3 grams of carbs. Maybe not. Maybe not even that much. Okay, now I'm dropping stuff all over the place. Now you can put the salad in on top of this beautiful dressing that we've made. And if you want this a little thinner so it's easier to mix in, just add a little bit of the tuna water. That's going to thin it out. So if you need your salad dressing to be a salad dressing consistency rather than an ice cream scoop consistency, that's a great way to do it. Adds a little bit more salt, adds whatever nutrients that were in the tuna that have been kind of leached out into the water in the canning process. And now we have beautiful dressing, and there is lots of dressing here. You've got a full half an avocado, 2 tablespoons of sour cream, and all of that just that easy. Just that easy. Now, we can grab, let me get my counter cleaned up because as usual, I am making a mess this morning. Okay. Now, you guys know I'm a stickler for recycling and composting, so make sure you wash out that tuna can, put it in the compost or put it in recycle, and you know whatever is left over at the end of your lettuce, make sure that goes into the compost. Now we're just going to mix this up a little bit, and then before I eat it, toss the salad. Now, depending on how you like your salad, how you like your tuna, you might want a little bit more salt, a little bit more pepper. Now remember, go easy on the salt. You can always add more. You can't take it out. And especially if you're going to thin out your dressing with that tuna juice, you want to make sure that you haven't added too much salt because there's salt in the tuna as well. Okay, now it is taste time. Honest to heavens, guys. That makes my mouth happy. It makes my brain happy. It is absolutely delicious. And this is like a giant tuna sandwich with no bread. So, if you love tuna, but you've kind of been avoiding it because you can't have a tuna sandwich anymore, please don't. Keto is not about giving up the things that you love. It's about finding new healthy ways to have them. And if you have some more lettuce, do a lettuce wrap. This is absolutely delicious, and I am very much looking forward to having lunch now. So I was looking forward to it before we got together, but even more so now. I want to thank you again for joining me today, and I hope that until we get together on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Mountain, you will do your very best to live your best version of this shining life. That's what I'm going to do. And if you stumble and you fail, you stumble and you fall with keto, just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and do it again. Life isn't perfect. It's never going to be. So be gentle with yourself and be gentle with others. And I